Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of the Football News Show. My name's Julian and today we're wrapping up everything that happened in the weekend around the world in football. First things first, let's catch up on the draw for the Champions League. Now we've got Barcelona up against Juventus, we've got Monaco up against Dortmund, we've got Real Madrid up against Bayern, and we've got Atletico Madrid up against Leicester City. Yeah, they're still here. The story continues. Last year Premier League champions, who knows, maybe this year Champions League champions. First one sounded ridiculous and it happened. Second one, they're still in the tournament, there's only 7 others left. I guess we'll see what happens. I'm not putting money on them to win it, but if you want to put $5 on it, you might make some bank. Honestly, it's probably worth it. Something that I'm going to do over the next 2 or 3 weeks is I'm going to go through each of those Champions League teams and break down how they've got to where they are, their strengths and their weaknesses, and talk about who they're versing and pit them against each other in a table of 8. So stay tuned for that. Those 8 videos are coming at you over the next couple of weeks. Moving on, we've got the Europa League draw. Now, a lot of people don't really care too much about the Europa League. I don't really know why. Like, sure, it's not the Champions League, but it's still a very, very good competition. Now, we've got Anderlecht against Manchester United, Lyon against Besiktas, which are both really good teams. Then we've got Schalke against Ajax. And finally, there's Genk against Celta Vigo. Now, Genk are a really interesting team. No one expected them to do much in this tournament, but they've proven a lot of people wrong, and they seem to keep firing on all cylinders. Are they Leicester of the Europa League? I don't know. I guess if they make it to the final, they just might be. Manchester United are strong favourites to win the tournament, and then honestly, it could go any way between Lyon, Schalke, Besiktas or Ajax. So I'm really looking forward to all of those games. I think they'll be a really fascinating watch. Now we have a bunch of weekend results to cover. It was a full schedule in the Premier League, and same thing for Spanish League, French League, Italian League and German League. So we'll cover all of those as quickly as we possibly can to not have you sitting here for 4 hours. The first game I want to talk about is Manchester City against Liverpool. Now apparently for Pep this was like a dream come true and one of the greatest results of his managerial history. Now Pep having won as much stuff as he has, I think it's a load of crap, but if Pep wants to say that, sure, why not? I mean, a draw against Liverpool is not the worst result, but I wouldn't call it a fantastic one, especially in a game where both teams we knew going into this were just terrible defensively, and they showed it in this game. I mean, it was a 1-1 draw, but really, it could have been 5-5, it could have been 11-25, it could have been anything. Congrats to both teams, I guess. I think both teams will take it. Moving on, we had Defence United take on Middlesbrough. Defence United, also known as Manchester United, started the game in the same formation that they've been playing the last few games in a 3-4-3, and it seemed to do okay. Manchester United got up to a 2-0 lead. As soon as they did that though, Mourinho thought, you know what is a great idea? Let's bring on defender after defender after defender, and I think our final formation was probably like a 10-1 or something with 10 defenders and a midfielder. That's an exaggeration, but we did have 6 defenders on the field at the end of the game. Now, it was pretty nervy stuff. Middlesbrough came back into it with a goal. However, after an unfortunate slip by Valdez, who used to play for Manchester United did get a 3-1 win as Antonio Valencia was able to walk the ball into the net. Other results, we had Chelsea get another win against Stoke with Willian scoring a great free kick. We also had Crystal Palace defeat Watford 1-0. We had Bournemouth defeat Swansea 2-0. Sunderland and Burnley with a ball draw. We had Everton defeat Hull 4-0 with Lukaku getting 2 goals. We had Tottenham defeat Southampton in a 2-1 win that they played without Harry Kane, so that's a pretty good result for them. And then we had Leicester continue their resurgent form 3-2 against West Ham after West Ham got off to a shocking start. Now Leicester could easily have dropped points in this. West Ham missed a few very, very close calls in that game. However, Leicester did hold on for that 3-2 win after Schmeichel made a couple fantastic saves. Finally, we had Arsenal losing 3-1 to West Brom. Now, this was a really interesting result personally because going into the game, Arsene Wenger mentioned one thing in the press conference, particularly to do with West Brom and how they score goals. Now, no, it wasn't dribbles into the box. No, it wasn't the most crosses. No, it wasn't any type of other thing, short passing. What he identified was set pieces. Now, unfortunately, who knows what happened on the training pitch or what the players were doing, but West Brom scored 2 goals in this game, both from set pieces. Utterly predictable stuff from West Brom. Utterly predictable bad defending by Arsenal, and it's another shambolic result. Now they've lost 4 games in the Premier League out of their last 5. I mean, that's relegation form. It's absurd. It's seen them drop from 2nd in the table down to 6th, and they are on level points with Everton in 7th. So I know, sure, haha, Manchester United 6th place. Not anymore. Now it's Arsenal, and they could be dropping into 7th. So, you know, Arsene Wenger, seriously, man, if you're gonna resign, just let people know. I might give the whole team a lift. I mean, look at what happened with Leicester. Now, obviously that's a special case, but I don't think things can continue to go on as they are with Arsenal. If he's gonna keep going, just say it as well. Let people move on. All this stuff, nonsense with planes flying over the top, back and forth, debating different stuff. I mean, really, it's a bit embarrassing. Come on, you're better than that, Arsenal. Alright, so that's wrapping up the Premier League. Now we're going to move on to the Spanish Primera. In the Spanish Primera division, we had Barcelona getting to a 4-2 victory over Valencia, with Messi being absolutely magic in the game. We had Real Madrid struggling against Bilbao, however somehow coming through with a 2-1 win. Ronaldo, a bit pissed off that he got substituted, but at the end of the day, I think Zidane's handling it really well. And if anyone is going to be taking you off as a player, even if you're the size of Cristiano Ronaldo, I think being taken off by Zidane, someone that was amazing as a player, and apparently as a manager too, I mean, I think that'll be something that they sort out. A lot of people are trying to make a bit of a big deal about it, however, I think that'll be easily swept under the rug. Then we had Atletico Madrid defeat Sevilla 3-1. Everything's going wrong for Sampaoli at the moment. Good luck to him. It's definitely a 2-horse race in the Spanish Primera division, there's no real denying that. The other result of note was Villarreal losing 1-0 to Las Palmas. Moving on to Germany, Bayern Munich got a 1-0 win over Darmstadt. Bremen defeated Leipzig 3-0 in a pretty bad result for Red Bull Leipzig. And that basically means that Bayern Munich is now 13 points clear of Red Bull Leipzig, totally in control. The league, I think it's pretty safe to say, is Bayern Munich's at this point. In 3rd place, we had Dortmund defeat Ingolstadt 1-0. They're currently still 3 points behind Red Bull Leipzig, but I could easily see them overtaking them in the coming weeks. They're 16 points behind Bayern Munich. I don't see anyone catching them. However, it'll be an interesting race to see who finishes in 2nd place in the league. The other result of note in the German Bundesliga was Hoffenheim defeating Leverkusen 1-0. Now moving quickly to Italy, we had 5 of the 7 top teams in the league all get wins. We had 2 not though. Those 2 teams were Lazio and Inter Milan, both of them drawing their respective games. What that means for the Serie A table is Juventus stay unchanged at the top, and then we've got everyone going down right to AC Milan still in 7th place, but making up some important ground. Finally, with results in France, we had Monaco and PSG both picking up wins on the weekend. It looks like it'll be going right down to the wire, so stay tuned for who's going to be picking up points in that league. It's still, in my opinion, probably the most interesting league happening at the moment in the top tiers around Europe, apart from perhaps Spain, because Real Madrid and Barcelona are still pretty tight there as well. That's us done with results. Now moving on to a couple other little bits of news. We had some surprising news coming out of Manchester United. Apparently, Bastian Schweinsteiger has agreed a deal with Chicago Fire. It's been confirmed by both clubs and by numerous news sources. And yeah, subject to a visa and a medical, that's where Schweinsteiger will be heading. So all the best, Schweinsteiger. I hope you get to play a lot more games there than you did at Manchester United, and I'm sorry it didn't work out. That's all for team news. Moving on into the international break, I'll make sure to keep you updated on who plays who and how those results fare with all the World Cup qualifiers coming up for Russia 2018. Now stay tuned for that, and also stay tuned for all my Champions League reviews on all the teams left in the competition. Thank you so much for watching, guys. My name's Julian, and I'll catch you all on another episode of the Football News Show. Cheers.